3, 2, 1. Alright, so welcome to my deck tech video for what has to be the worst deck I have in my entire collection put together. That is Ragost, the Deft Gastronaut. It's not the worst because it's Boros, it's the worst because this is just a pile of cards I put together. It's kind of cool, you know, it might do something, but this is like my deck I play when it's like, okay, we're just having fun and I don't want to be a complete degenerate douchebag win at all cost player. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to play with 99 cards in a commander, and I'm gonna play this. This could actually be like a 3 or 4 power level deck, but not with how I built it. So we'll dive into it. We got Skulls About Scrounger. So basically, this just lets me get some more treasure tokens, so I get a little ramp. Arrow's got a victory. You know, hey, my 4-drop isn't even a good creature until I've got my board packed full of stuff. But being able to prevent all damage dealt to attacking creatures means I can just turn stuff sideways and bash in with stuff, and even they still gotta block it, but it's not gonna die. So there's a little synergy in the deck for this. Exalted Sunburn. If one or more tokens would be created under your controls, create type set made. There is a bunch of token makers in this deck, so this does end up playing a role in the deck. Is just a little like doubling season-esque card. Archangel Avacyn, another one of those indestructible cards, and you know, she's got the flip so she can turn into a beater. Also the Vigilance, so it works good with Ragost. When transforms, deal 3 damage to each other creature and each opponent. So yeah, a little 3 damage across the board sub theme in the deck. Arbor Ravager, yeah, we're making tons of artifact tokens in this deck, so being able to sack all of those, put +1/+1 counters on it, and then you know, when this dies and I sacrifice it as a food, I can redistribute the +1/+1 counters to another artifact creature. Is kind of cool. Pia Nalar. Okay, so we're getting into my artifact token strategy. She comes into play. I create a 1/1 Thopter token. I can give it, you know, I can pay 2 to give +1/+0 to an artifact creature. I can sacrifice artifact to make things block. So if I've got the army and I got the big Archon Ravager, I could swing in for lethal with it. Spiderbot, just a land tutor. It goes for a basic land. Sometimes you need that. You just, you know, to make sure you hit your 3-drops in this deck. And yeah, it's not glamorous, but you know, when Ragost is out, you can eat it for food. Purphoros Scholar of the Forge. We are going to be making a lot of 1/1 Thopter tokens with this deck, so, and other types of tokens. So being able to ping each opponent for 2 damage, not too shabby. Another one of our token makers. This one makes 2, and you can sacrifice, pay red, tip, and 2, sacrifice, deal 2 damage to any target. Metalworker, there's a lot of artifacts in this deck, so Metalworker is in, so we can just tap, reveal the artifacts from our hand, and make a bunch of ridiculous mana. So yeah, it's cool. Chief of the Foundry, artifact creatures get +1/+1. You know, 1/1 Thopter tokens, not that good, but 2/2 Thopter tokens, very good. Thopter Engineer, just another you know, token maker. This one is all my artifact creatures haste. We got the Stride Hanger Automaton, another way to boost our Thopters, get more Thopter tokens into play. Feel like you're familiar. Yeah, so we're gonna eat the Robot Fox. We're gonna gain 2 life when it enters. So that's going to automatically mean that we're going to have Ragost be able to untap. And it's also going to be a food, so it's going to deal 3 damage to each of our opponents, and it's going to let us draw a card. That's really nice in this deck. Another Thopter token maker. This one's just another token maker, but the tokens you get have prowess, so if you play more cards, I'm probably going to take this out for something that's more synergistic for the deck, but for right now, I just needed something to fit a slot, and when I play artifacts, I get to make more dudes, so I want to go wide with the deck, so it's a go wide card for now. Slumbering Walker, I got a lot of 2 power or less creatures that I would love to have hit my graveyard and come back. So being able to put this out and get those creatures back, a lot of them make more Thopters when they come in, so definitely going to be playing this. Pay 1 and white, and target creature control gains life, flying and lifelink until end of turn. So if I fling the lobster, it gains a lifelink, so I can fly. So I can end up basically be like, I'm not going to use the flying, but I'll give it the lifelink so that way it gets untapped. So this ends up being like spend 3 mana with these 2 out, and I can, you know, deal 9 damage, 3 damage to each opponent. But also gain 9 life. So those 2 are in there for the synergy. Stoneford Mystic in here to get me any of the great artifact equipment. Yeah, sometimes I will be doing it to get the food. I need a Basilisk color so I can really have her be able to set Radagast up. Pure Steel Paladin, I'm going to get a lot of artifacts, and I'm looking to get the Metalcraft online with this, so being able to pay 0 to equip my artifacts, my equipment, that's going to be awesome. Saves me some mana. So once I get this out, and I do actually get a Basilisk collar for this deck, you know, I can just put it on here for free and just start going to town with, you know, tapping this, sacrificing an artifact, and doing all that nice life gain. Night of the White Orchid, just in here like a land tax to be able to help me if I am playing against somebody who's doing a lot of ramp. I can just play this and keep on the same level of them. I can go look for planes, give myself a little bit of ramp myself. Mentor of the Meek. There is a ton of power 2 or less creatures in this deck. Lots of Thopter tokens that are going to be coming into play. If I have the extra mana, I can just draw cards. So that's a good synergistic piece with this. 1-drop Court Homunculus, you know, it becomes a 2/2 as long as I got another artifact, but also it's a 1-drop food to feed the Radagast. And speaking of food, I do have a lot of food in the artifact section. The Tempting Apple, being able to use this as a mind control. If I'm able to steal an artifact creature and I got Radagast in play, I can, you know, and I got the extra 1 mana, I can tap it and get rid of their dude at the same time. The apple, you know, I could use if I got more stuff online. I just want to gain 3 life, and I can untap this and be able to ping it off and hit everybody else. Yeah, it's good. Big Little Schmear, you know, if I want, I'm not really gonna put a +1/+1 counter on something, but I might want to draw the card. But basically, it's just a cool food in here to, you know, feed to the lobster. Spirit Heliod, like I said, there's a lot of token go wide in this deck, so having this be able to give everything +1/+1, and also be a bit of a removal on a removal spell, so I can just be like tap it and get rid of that thing that just hit me, so I'm not going to get hit over and over and over again. It's nice. Gingerbrute, you know, a 1/1 food creature with haste. You know, you can pay 1 and it can't be blocked by creatures this turn except by other creatures with haste. Kind of cool. You can get in a free little damage, then sacrifice it off to deal some extra damage. It's cool. Candy Trail, another 1-drop food. You know, having the ability to scry too. It's cool. We're in a food synergy, so these things are already food, so I can use them even though Radagast isn't in play. Mystic Forge, you can look at the top card of my library at any time. Cast if it's artifact or colorless online card. There's a lot of colorless online cards in here. There's a lot of artifacts in here. And even if I want to just skip over the card, you know, being able to pay a life and exile it so I can get to something I really need. Mystic Forge, not too shabby. Prophetic Prism, you know, card draw, mana fixing, and it's a food. It becomes a food, so nice. Trading Post, just something cool to put in here. I mean, I can make some goat tokens. Can get a key artifact back from my graveyard to my hand. it's got some options here. You know, I can discard stuff, gain some life. Trading Post is kind of cool. It's like a little catch-all. Does everything you need to do. Hedron Archive, just some ramp and card draw when I don't need it. Smuggler's Copter, it's the most broken 2-drop in the game. As long as I got any of my creatures out, I can crew it. You know, attacks or blocks, I can draw a card, discard a card, filter through to get the stuff I really need. Unwinding Clock, I get to untap all my artifacts to my opponent's untap step. If I could somehow put a liquid metal coat to make this an artifact, it would let me untap this, so I don't have to give it lifelink. Yeah, that's cool. Meteorite. It's a rock that deals 2 damage and fixes mana. I like Meteorite, and you know, the lobster can eat it. Yeah. Jitte. I put all the best equipment into this deck that I could think of. So you know, Jitte is just cool, gaining you life, putting -1/-1 counters, giving things +2/+2. Jitte is decent. And speaking of broken artifacts, I put the Basalt Monolith in here. Just in case I need to make a bunch of mana, be able to cast a bunch of stuff. So, yeah. And they're right there. The Rings of Birthlife and the Soft Monolith. So, a lot of the deck is all colorless. So, as long as I got some good card draw engine going online, I can just make all the mana, cast all the food, and just start being able to sacrifice it out. It's awesome. Batterskull, you know, hey, it's a staple of the equipment. It's like one of the classic equipments, you know. Makes a 4/4 with Vigilance and Lifelink. You can pay 3 to return it to its owner's hand. You know, it creates chump blocks, creates just speed bump blocks with that lifelink. I think it's a good card to have if you're going with an artifact package. Again, Sword of War and Peace. You know, got a good bunch of card draw. You're going to be dealing damage and gaining life. Yeah. Sword of Body and Mind. Some mill and an extra dude on the board. Yeah. Sword of Light and Shadow. You see a theme here. Gain some life, return target creature, you know, to your hand from the graveyard. It's awesome. Instant ramen. More food that draws you cards. Whisper Silk Cloak. Make something unblockable. Sword of Feast and Famine. Mana ramp and card advantage. Retrofitter Foundry. It's like a trading post, except you know it does different stuff, and it can make you some bigger stuff, bigger artifacts. That's not bad. Trepanation Blade, another mill strategy. If somebody's really, you want to be able to mill somebody out in the deck, go ahead. Or you know, somebody's playing a land, like this ends up being tech. If somebody's playing oops all spells, you can just be like, put this on it and then I'll hit you and kill you. So it's part of my equipment package. Fire and Ice, card draw, direct damage, nice. Path to Exile, every single white commander deck should be running a little bit of removal. Because this deck runs so few duels, it runs a lot of basics. I put Price of Progress in here just to be cute. It is something I would swap out in a future deck build, but you know, if everybody in your play group isn't playing a lot of basics and you play Price for Progress, they're gonna have a bad day and you're gonna have some fun. So that's cool. Stoke the Flames, free, good early removal spell. You can just kind of like tap stuff down. You're gonna be making a ton of Thopters, so you're gonna get to cast this as a free removal spell a lot of the time. That's cool. Welding Sparks. Oof. This deck, you see how many token makers we got that make artifacts. So this thing is gonna be a nuts removal spell. It's gonna be 3+ a lot. So yeah, Welding Sparks totally works in this deck. Banishing Light, another removal, another key piece of removal. Just be able to take that, exile something. Not a lot of people play enchantment removal. There is some here and there. Sometimes you do see a lot of it, but you know, Banishing Light, just a staple removal spell, I think. Aether Grid. So we're making a lot of tokens, and what if somebody's playing Pillow Fort and they're hiding behind their propagandas and all those other things that make you pay 2 in order to attack them? Well, just churn 2 artifacts sideways and deal 1 damage to them. And with the Unwinding Cock, you can do that on everybody's turns. Just untap all your stuff, and you're like, are you going to attack me? And they're like, yes. It's like, okay, take a bunch of damage. Or, are you going to attack me? No? Okay, I'll do a bunch of damage to somebody else. You can kind of like politic it with this on the table. With a Gideon, another part of the go wide strategy. Also, there's a lot of planeswalkers in this deck. So, just being able to give all of my planeswalkers 1 additional loyalty is nice. Call the Gatewatch, another good card in here. Do have a lot of planeswalkers, so I do want to have the Planeswalker Tutor spell. Pay 3 mana, go get whichever planeswalker I need. So, yes. Fragmentize, destroy target artifact or enchantment, convert mana cost 4 or less. I don't think a lot of Commander decks play any enchantments that cost more than 4, so having Fragmentize in there as a little spot removal for artifacts and enchantments, really nice. Alright, we're getting into the Planeswalkers. So, yeah, this deck is kind of basically based off my original mono white Nahiri deck. It plays a lot of the same classic equipment package that I ran in that deck. And this one just, makes 1/1s so we can go wide. Maybe an equipment card from your hand and graveyard onto the battlefield. Just being able to put her out and use her like a Stoneforge Mystic is nuts. And then basically making that incredibly broken, busted sword that gives +5/+5 and double strike. That's kind of cool, and that's why I wanted to have the Oath in order, so she starts at 4, and then we just need 3 turns of plussing her, and then we can hit the alt and get the big sword. But I think it's just, and also it's kind of cool to be able to even just -2 her twice to put down the equipment, the living weapons, is going to be nice. Next we got a Johnny Adversary Tyrants. +1, put a +1/+1 counter each up to 2 target creatures. This deck is going to go wide. You are going to be able to put some +1/+1 counters on stuff. That's going to be good to make some beat stick. Return the target creature card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. There are a good number of good creatures in the deck that do have that mana value cost. Being able to, you play the Stoneforge Mystic, they kill the Stoneforge Mystic. You use a Johnny, bring Stoneforge back. Awesome. The emblem, I don't see getting to that a lot, but it is, 3 1/1 creatures with lifelink. So you are part of this go wide strategy. Nahiri the Harbinger. So the other Nahiri, you discard a card. If you do, draw a card. So card draw, exile enchantment, artifact or creature for minus abilities. So she's got some built-in removal. And then if you can -8 her, you can search your library for artifact or creature card. It gains haste, return it to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. I did have the Eldrazi originally in here to do that kind of stuff, but I think just being able to search your deck up for something key, put it down, even getting the one that gives, or I can pay it and give lifelink, the giant, being able to get to that and have that set up so I can gain some life when I gain some clutch life